Worried about 9:25. Looks like it's good. Back in December of last year. For the season. Do you do it every year? Or do you have every year?
No, that's why she wants to leave.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, big audience tonight.
Public hearing.
Yes. I'd like to bring this meeting of the Plan Commission to order. August 22nd, 2024. Please speak into your microphone. We now have longer cords, so it should not be a problem. So call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge, please.
Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Chairperson Brightcloth,
Here.
Commissioner Blaylock,
Here.
Commissioner Graditor, Commissioner Levin,
Here.
Commissioner Marshall,
Here.
Commissioner Romanelli,
Here.
and Commissioner Rothbard is absent. But we have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes from August 1st. We will put those over until our September 5th meeting. Are there any visitors wishing to address the Plan Commission? I see none, so we'll move on. New business, a public hearing to consider two zoning text amendments. First, to add a new permitted use in the ONR1 district for governmental facilities such as libraries, police and fire stations, and stormwater management. And second, amending section 9-4A-3 to remove multiple family housing as a special use in the 1R 42,000 square foot district. So we open the hearing. And do we need a motion to open?
No.
No? Would you like to give some remarks?
Nice to see everyone. I know I haven't been ahead of the last couple of meetings. The purpose of the hearing tonight is to consider amendments to the Riverwood zoning ordinance. The amendments, we call them text amendments. We're not changing any zone. We're not remapping a property. We're not changing the property from R1 to some other zone. No property is being rezoned. All we're doing is suggesting a change in the wording of the Riverwood zoning ordinance in a couple of places. The first place is in the Office and Research 1 district. That district is the zoning for the federal life property. It's also the zoning for Discover and for Wolters Kluwer. Am I speaking into the microphone? Okay. This is the office campus. It's a office research campus. ONR1 stands for Office and Research. It was intended for large leafy campuses. Federal Life is the smallest tract in the village with the zoning. Discover is 80 acres and Wolters Kluwer is approximately 50 acres. When the zoning, which was originally developed for those two big campuses in the mid-'80s, established very generous setbacks, because after all, these were corporate headquarters, so there's a 100-foot setback from the front yard, from the front property line. There's buffer yards of 60 feet. There's a rear buffer yard as well. And these requirements work for a parcel of that size, and even for the Federal Life property, they were observed, but there was not much improvement. I mean, the amount of building on the Federal Life property was, as you know, just the one building. Among the uses allowed in the Office and Research 1 district right now are or offices, corporate offices, something called governmental offices, and uses related to office use, a certain amount of cafeteria use, a certain amount of fitness facility, but these are all in the context of uses you would see as, say, part of the Discover corporate campus. When we looked at the potential for the fire station to come on the Federal Life property, I immediately thought, well, governmental office, the fire station is part of the fire district. It's a governmental office. They actually will have their offices there, so case closed. Probably that would be the case, except they also have these large garage bays. They keep the doors open. They don't always keep them closed. There's no outside storage allowed in the Office and Research 1 campus district. There's no, everything is supposed to be within enclosed things. And if you look at the drawing that I passed out, this is an early draft. It's preliminary, and it hasn't been approved by Lake County Division of Transportation, because the access directly onto Deerfield Road may be a problem. So the building may turn and the access may be more directly onto the access road. But the point I had in showing this here was to give an indication of the dimension of the building. This is based on an architectural drawing that the fire district has developed. And it's very tiny because this is printed on tiny paper, but you can see that the setbacks that the fire district are indicating are less than the ONR1 district. So in our intergovernmental agreement with the fire district, we suggested that we would find a way to approve the fire station on this parcel. And that left us with a couple of options. One was to create a different zone. One was to create a new zoning district. One was to have them apply for a variance and demonstrate hardship. None of that really made sense, since we were entering into an intergovernmental agreement to collaborate on the development of a fire station. So noticing that the Office and Research 1 district allows for governmental offices, we suggested this text amendment that's before the Plan Commission tonight to include as an additional permitted use in the ONR1 district for governmental facilities. The facilities that we have on this property will include stormwater management and a fire station. And then you'll notice that we took the liberty, since we could apply this only to governmental facilities and not to any other uses in the ONR1 district, that the normal standards in the district for yard requirements, off-street parking, landscaping, buffer yard requirements, etc., shall be under the direction of the village board in the case of a governmental facility, and may be modified by the village board. You know, in the case of our special use ordinances, we often talk about modifications. So those are not variances or variations. Variances are more technical. They require a specific type of hardship. And often when we look at a special use, we say sometimes there are standards in the district which ought to be modified in order to promote excellence in design. I think the Plan Commission just went through that exercise looking at the residential plan development ordinance. You said, okay, these are characteristics that we want to recognize, and so we can, in approving the special use, there are these modifications. Well, this is not a special use. This is within the district itself. Normally, we wouldn't do this. I don't think, we certainly wouldn't for normal private development, but for a governmental facility, the simplest way to address this is to incorporate the ability for this kind of use for the village board to modify standards so that we don't have to come back through a whole round of public hearings. In the case of the fire station, the relief is most likely going to be on the setbacks so that this building can work on the site. I don't think the parking requirements that were in the office ONR1 campus district apply here. They have far fewer employees per 1,000 feet than you would have in a normal office building. So we will go through and do a more formal analysis when we have the actual designed building, and we'll know what things need to be modified. But with the text amendment in place, we'll have the ability through the board to modify whatever standards we need so that the fire station is able to locate on the site and operate within the ONR1 district with this modification. And I can stop, or I can talk about the second text amendment. Why don't I just talk about the second one quickly, and then we'll go on. Because the Plan Commission has spent so much time working on the residential plan development ordinance, we think it's most likely that future multifamily or attached dwelling units will be developed pursuant to that process. There is no multifamily zone per se in the village. The residential plan unit development would have to be a special use approved within one of our districts. That being the case, we had multiple family dwelling as a potential special use only in one district in the village, which was the district that Meadow Lake is in, the 1R district. That was put in 85 or 86. And I think as a placeholder, I said that before, I think it was just so the village had it someplace. And we found that those provisions in the case of Lexington were very difficult to make use of. The standards didn't actually allow for a modern townhome development. They weren't able to be used very efficiently by the village. And with the impending development of federal life for governmental uses or uses in the ONR1 district, the theory that this parcel was adjacent to 1R and could somehow be a transitional use and use multiple family dwelling, I think is probably no longer the case. So I know residents in Meadow Lake had asked us to consider this. Given that the village has moved so far in consideration of the residential plan development ordinance, I don't think it's necessary to keep this in the code at all anymore. I think we'll have a much more effective tool for dealing with attached dwellings in the future. And there is no other place in the village that's zoned 1R in which we could even make use of this other than the proposal that Lexington had, which was to rezone federal life to 1R. That's not before us anymore. So sometimes when we publish a notice and we have a hearing for text amendments, it's convenient to just take care of a couple things in the same meeting. And so the two text amendments are not really related, but I put them in because of your familiarity, this Plan Commission's familiarity with some of the issues around the zoning in the 1R district and the discussions about the residential plan development ordinance. So if the Plan Commission thinks these amendments are a good idea or with different suggestions, then at the close of the hearing afterwards, we would consider recommending them to the village board. We intend to get this on the village board agenda pretty soon because we are scheduled to close on purchasing Federal Life's property. October 15th is the current closing date. That's my spiel.
Okay, so we don't have anybody who wants to comment from the audience. Do we close the hearing and then
Well,
discuss?
If there are no comments, I guess we can close the hearing and discuss.
Okay, are there any comments from the public? No, okay. Then we'll move to close the public hearing, or we just close it?
Well, does anyone have any comment they would like to make of this for the sort of the record for the, okay. I think you can have a motion to close the hearing in a second.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
Voice vote is fine. All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. Do we do a report for the board?
You could do it probably yourself, but yes, we do. I mean,
Okay. We just say that we recommend basically what it says in here.
if you, unless you're troubled by something, if you think it's, if you think it's a, you understand, if you had questions or if you think it's confusing or there's a problem, otherwise, you would recommend that
Yeah,
the board
I would.
act on it.
Yeah, I think it's very straightforward and a good idea. Okay, I think we can move on. Thank you. You want these maps back?
Yeah, only because they really are, they were illustrative. The plan, the county has not approved that access. And it's a,
Okay, no old business, no comments by the chairman, but I see that we didn't have a report from the Director of Community Services on this agenda, and I wonder if Director Witt would care to make some comments.
Well, it may have been just kind of karma because there is no report because we have nothing coming down the pike at the moment. Perhaps it'll change for the September 5th, by the September 5th meeting. We still have the one case for the Trudy subdivision, but I'm not certain that that's going to be ready by September 15th, by September 5th. We've already missed the publication timeframe for it, and B, I don't believe that we've gotten the formal approval by Lincolnshire to do the connect that they need to have done in order for that project to get moved forward and approved by this village board.
I forgot to say that there might be a subdivision plat for the Federal Life property, but I don't think it'll be ready September 5th at this rate.
I don't think so either, because at this point, we've missed the publication date for that as well, too. However, on the other hand, we still don't have a finalized parcel for the fire district, which
Sure.
we need in order to, and, you know, an approval on that, an approval with the county and the fire district before we can move that forward.
All those things. I mean, if they turn the building on the site, it can affect where we put their lot lines. And so we've been, the main issue is how they get the fire engines when, you know, once there's an emergency, how do they most efficiently get them onto Deerfield Road? And so there's a bunch of traffic discussion about how to do that.
Thank you very much. So I have no further comments, and I will, unless anybody else has anything they want to add, I will.
Just a question. Do we need a motion to approve this to send it to the board?
Did we have one? I guess we didn't. A motion to recommend.
That's a good point. Yes, let's have a motion to recommend approval of the draft ordinance,
The text amendments.
text amendments in the draft ordinance.
I move that we recommend approval of the text amendment per the preliminary draft of 7/25/2024.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it is passed. Thank you very much for bringing that up. I think we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a move? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and good night.
This was a lot.